good day to you. Thank you for joining Black Economics TV. Today we have a guest with us, Paul Muhammed. He's been doing some amazing things in the Black entrepreneurship space, in particular in supporting Black businesses to earn more money. He's the kind of person that can call a crowd together and say, come on, let's go and support this Black-owned shop on this particular street. Now, you have to have some kind of charisma and leadership talent in order to be able to mobilize people to do that. So his business is called Moneymob. That particular project is Moneymob. It's basically like you're getting a flash mob of people, and you know that those exist where people call people together to go and do a dance in the middle of Trafalgar Square or wherever. But he calls people together to go and spend money at a particular Black-owned store. Now, I think that sounds absolutely amazing. I want to commend him for that. But we're going to go back a bit now and talk about his journey from the beginning. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you so much, Dawn, for having me. Black Economics, that sounds exactly the kind of show I want to be on.
Oh, thank you very much. So tell us, let's go back a bit. Let's talk about, you've grown up, your education, your dreams as a person wanting to make a mark in this world. I'm sure you had no idea that you were going to do things like Moneymob, but tell us about your education and the kind of things you wanted to do as you were growing up.
Okay. Well, look, I grew up and I was born in London. I grew up single parent family, and one of my abiding memories was growing up. I mean, I was growing up in early London, where there was a lot of London. It wasn't the kind of place it is now, places where you were, no-go areas and the like. But I grew up, pretty active life, and with myself and my two other siblings. One of my abiding memories when I was growing up is going to Jamaica. I think that was one of my abiding memories. I was about 7 years old, and when I went to Jamaica, it was like a complete cultural change in a way that I'd never seen. And you imagine, I was 7 at the time. And one of the things I always remember that, the country was so lush and green. Obviously you'd pass, greenery in the UK, but it was a different type of green going there. And the first thing that struck me was when I was looking on the billboards, there were Black people that was advertising the billboard. I'd never seen Black people on a billboard before, never, you know what I mean? And then you would go to, they'd go down, so like where we were, we're based like just in Montego Bay. So you'll go to the Nova Scotia Bank and you see bank tellers like looking at cars, or the bank manager walking by and he looked like us, or the driver, and those things really kind of struck me, you know what I mean? And I remember flying, when we were even flying there and flying back, it was Air Jamaica at the time, and Air Jamaica at that time, they had models and a catwalk, doing the catwalk, during the aisles and stuff like that. And it was a completely different experience. Going on the beach, first time you've ever, gone on a white sand beach, and yeah, the whole of that experience was just so lovely. Being in a place that you could actually run around and unattended, and you didn't have to be coming home, before sundown because something may happen. And I always remember, because with my grandmother and everything, and the whole kind of experience. And I left that country. I remember when I left Jamaica at 7 years old, I cried when leaving my grandmother. I cried at the airport.
Oh.
I cried when the plane was leaving Jamaica. When it was now descending into London to the grey skies, I started crying again. I cried when we were now driving and it turned into our road. And I went up to my room and I just jumped to my bed and I just slumped to my bed just crying. I was bereft. You know what I mean? I had moved from heaven,
Oh,
for it, to almost like a hell-like existence with the rain and the cold again. So that was always something that was, that was one of my main kind of abiding memories, and that was going to be something that would later on shape my life. My education, I grew up. My dad was was self-employed. He was a carpenter builder, so he had his own business. And the plan was for me to become an architect. So that's where I studied architecture to be an architect. And the plan was for me to become we were to run like a design build company in the future. So like a lot of my early years, like going to school or going to college, I would be on the building site with him and doing, I'm doing work, or working a certain, just in regards to that. But then a particular event really kind of changed my direction. We had a project which was in Whitechapel. It was next to a large mosque on the Whitechapel Road, and it was a project that we had now taken on. Myself, my father, and my uncle. I was the designer. They were doing the building, and I must admit, oh my goodness, it was such a challenge. It was such a major, major challenge that it kind of put me off the idea of now going to business within the family environment. So I kind of kept that to myself, but I went to college, and then I kind of transitioned from architecture more into like interior design. But then I moved into from there. I went into fine art and into fashion.
oh,
Yeah, and that's where I kind of remained completely in this design space. So that's where I went, and I graduated. In the design, in that particular design space.
mm.
So then fast forward, I whilst at college, I met a few friends of mine at a meeting gathering, us around the same age. We're all young brothers, and but ambitious brothers who wanted to kind of do something, on a particular type of level. So there's about four of us, and we decided to come together and build a business, a couple of businesses. One of the businesses was food. Another one was like financial services, and the business that I kind of went into was more design and build. And we kind of grew that business and took that forward for a good few years, and then set up a company called based on a model that we saw in the United States called Power: People Organized and Working for Economic Rebirth.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah,
Fantastic name.
yeah, and in that we were able to make our links, working with businesses that were over here, but also making links with businesses that were in the United States. So I spent a lot of time going back and forth to the US, and in particular Washington DC. So back in those days, we had like the Black Expos, like the ones in Texas. DC had Black Expos that they were now, these were like the fledgling kind of, gathering where you would have, Black businesses coming together. And this was like the the late 80s, early 90s, and yeah, and also in Africa. I was blessed to go to Senegal and Gambia. I've been to Gambia a good few times, and do business over there. That experience was really quite telling, because I went to a trade show in Senegal. And whilst I was in Senegal, because at that time we was kind of I was working with some people with trading in charcoal, fish, and paper, I think it was.
Oh.
We walk into this trade show. Now, this trade show in Senegal had people from Scandinavia, from China, from France, the UK, from the United States. And we were I think we were probably one of the only visually Black businesses that were in that room. When we went into the
room,
oh yeah, yeah. When we went into the room, people was looking at us like, they literally looked at us like, how did you know this was going on? That's how it was, you know. And at that time, we were well prepared, because at that time also we had a brother was part of the party that was also French speaking, and we was able to, you know, make sure that, I mean, what I couldn't understand or they couldn't understand, we'd have, you know, have someone
fantastic
there. And as I said, we did, you know, very, 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 very well. So that was the kind of thing that I was kind of what I was doing with, you know, for quite a few years. I also was in a faith group. And in the faith group, I was a finance minister in that faith group as well. You know, just kind of, you know, working on, you know, how we could, again, as a collective, because one of the things I found out very, very early on with myself and my friends is that if we collectively kind of, you know, put our, and at that time we'd have like a little saving pot, similar to like a partner, we'd put our monies together, and that was during like Thatcher's Britain, where you could buy a house pretty cheaply. We could buy houses. So, you know, so within about a year and a half, we was able to buy one house, two houses, three houses, and so on and so forth. And again, moving further, we understood that, all right, we have, you know, we are now moving with organizations and creating organizations and people that if we kind of come together, we could do some really amazing things. And at that time, we was able to buy like shops and supermarkets and
wow,
in this country. Shops, supermarkets. We were people had offered us real estate, you know, like literally blocks of flats and that kind of stuff. Why? Because we were able to you know, come together, and people could say, oh my God, you know, these people, they had money. You know what I mean? So
can I just say that I'm very excited about what you're saying. But I'm also a little bit worried that this might not have a happy ending. So I hope that things like this are still continuing. Yeah. And I hope that you're not going to sort of bring us back down to earth with a bump. Please continue.
Sadly, I do have to bring you down with a bump, because it's funny. I always say to people that one of my comments, and I think I meant it to you, Dawn, that people do not appreciate that business is war, and that if you do not understand that concept, you're going to go into a gunfight with a pencil, and and that's what we do not understand. The idea of Black economics it's quite a scary proposition in the wider world, you know, and maybe when we go down further, I'll be able to furnish your audience and tell them why. But suffice to say, it did grow, things did grow, and then yes, it did. We did have an abrupt end. Let's put it that way.
Oh no.
Yeah. So much so, I had to, for the first time in my life, I had to take on a full-time job. I think I was 30 or 35 at the time. I'd never worked for anyone in my entire life. And, but again, needs must. At that time, I was married, and I've got to look after my family. That's the first priority. So I worked for about 15 years in this this large corporate brand, and I did a lot of. I then went back into the fashion industry, and where I did work for them, and I did a lot of quality control, garment technology, and analysis work, that kind of stuff. The kind of thing that I said I can just, get on what I was doing there, but then also have my side hustle kind of going on.
Okay.
You know, yeah, and that's what I did for 15 years. That I kind of really went into the design area. So I used to do suits, men's wear, women's wear, and one of my suits actually found itself at the V&A.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. One of the suits actually found itself.
Okay.
It was one of those exhibitions, like the Black UK experience, and it's only when I was informed. Yeah, Paul. One of your suits, one of your designs, was at the V&A. So
Okay, fantastic. Well, perhaps you can provide us a picture of that so we can show it to the audience.
I'm.
Yeah, you can provide that later. Yeah.
And I'll send it. Yeah, I'll try to provide that later. So yes, so again, moving forward, I it's during the time I actually was working for the corporate company, which I will not name. I don't want to give them. I'm no advertising. I watched a video, and in the video it had this lady who had a black hair company, and the lady had a customer that came in. She had wanted a product that this lady didn't have, and she said, "Look, go out on the high street. If anything, I will. I'm certain that you will be able to get that product at one of the other shops, on the high street. So don't worry." A couple of weeks later, the same lady went into the shop and was saying to the woman, "Yes, I found the item you were talking about, and thank you so much." But she also said that while she was in the shop, the man in the shop said to her, "Anything that woman can give you, we can give it to you 10% cheaper."
Oh.
And in truth, she's a lot of trouble. We want to get rid of her. Yeah, I said to myself, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe that someone that is serving their community, you have other people now collectively looking to gang up and get rid of it. That's what I'm saying. Business is war.
So this was a hair and beauty shop, yeah?
It was a hair and beauty shop, in Lewisham. So I said to myself, you know what? No. I've got to do something about this. So I was watching something on YouTube or some streaming platform, and they were talking about this maybe some little mobbing activity that they're doing. I think this is in Chicago, and I said, I like that. I like something on that kind of level. So then I constructed the idea of a money mob, and I just spoke to a couple of friends saying that, look, I want to do this. Do you think it's a good idea? And they said, Paul, we will, we want to work with you. We'll support it. And that's really what it is. I said, I put it out there. At that time, that was like the early time of WhatsApp, when everyone was on WhatsApp, and WhatsApp was really, really popular. So I just put it out there on WhatsApp. I didn't really have a lot of, I didn't really have social media at the time. And the traction was really, really, really surprising. So much so that when we with a few days to go, I had podcasters coming to me. I had people from radio saying, "Yeah, we want to be down there."
Oh.
and yeah, and then a day and yeah, and a day and time, we without the owner of the shop even knowing, we mobbed the business.
Oh wow! You didn't even tell her.
Didn't even tell him. Didn't even tell him. We mobbed the business, and it was really, really amazing.
Oh
Really, really
wow!
amazing. And that really kind of started the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we used to do. At the beginning, we wouldn't really tell anyone. Or I would do, I would visit the shop, or I would visit the restaurant, and I would say, "Oh, yeah, I like this. Yeah, I'm gonna come with. I'm gonna bring a couple of friends of mine to.
A couple.
Yeah, exactly.
Like turn up with 50, yeah?
Exactly. I'm gonna be a couple of friends of mine to kind of, and next minute we just mob the place, and that's how it kind of really
Wow.
developed, and yeah, we just we did that for that particular way and strategy for about a year, and then we did and then we launched the Moneymob officially a year later, and then yeah, we just took it from there. So far, we must have helped at least 100, 200 businesses in regards to money mobbing.
Wow,
Worked,
fantastic.
yeah, worked with thousands of business promoting, businesses, here uh, in the UK. We've gone on money mob excursions, places like Luton. We've done excursions. We've done excursions in Paris.
What?
We had we'll be working with a sister in Marseille. We was working, did something in Marseille. We've interviewed people. I've gone on into the Caribbean, Barbados. We've done money mob interviews with people over there whilst I was over there, and other parts of the Caribbean as well as Africa. And yeah, we've just kind of, that's really how it's kind of happened, and yeah, it's just taking it there from strength to strength. Really.
Well, I must say, I love that concept. I just love the money mob idea. And to see that you've helped between 100 and 200 businesses with this concept is just fantastic. It's an outstanding record. So, so when you do the marketing before the money mob, what is the effect of that on the business?
Well, look, generally speaking, is that people usually see the pounds and pence, i.e., okay, we're directly affecting your business. We're giving you, it's £10 per person, and we're directly, impacting your business financially. But what businesses at times do not see is that we're now doing the marketing, the promotion before the actual money mob experience. You probably will be doing an interview with me. You're probably now we're now actually doing a marketing campaign leading up to the money mob event. And that whole experience, the marketing and the promotion, that's the thing that not only going to affect you when we actually money mobbing you today, but it's actually going to affect your business as people and repeat people now come to your business. And that's the thing that we have to appreciate. A lot of the time, for one reason or another, you're not promoting or marketing your business in that same sort of way. So that's the reason why you also have to understand, yes, of course, there have to be a cost prerogative in regards to that. Why? Because, as I said, as well as making sure that we are directly financing, that business in that money mob, but we're doing the marketing and the promotion and the PR for your business leading up to that time, and in truth, infinitum.
That's amazing. So therefore, it's a marketing campaign that you're doing for that business, and really, they should pay for that. If people wanted to find out more about Money Mob, do you have like a social media or website where people can go see what you did before and what you continue to do?
Well, if people want, I mean, we are we're on all platforms now. So whether you want to check us out, you'll check us on all the socials. Whether it's Instagram or X or Facebook. You'll see what we've been doing. TikTok now, we're on LinkedIn, YouTube in regard to some of the interviews that we've done, because also we moved from just money mobbing. We went into we went into radio. So we had a radio show called the Moneymob Black Business Radio Show, which was that went on for about 3 years. So we interviewed leaders there. So as I said, if you want to check out some of our interviews, you can go on YouTube, or you check us out on our Mixcloud or our SoundCloud, and so you will get a flavor of the thing. So we're totally immersed in regards to targeting or interviewing Black businesses. Why? Because as I said, it's there are a lot of businesses that are doing amazing things. As and I know, and we've talked about this, and people don't understand and don't know the amazing businesses that are doing some magnificent work, amazing organizations that are doing some magnificent work here as well as globally. And it is for us to be able to share that. So yeah, people can can get in touch.
Okay, well, we'll put all those links you've just mentioned, we'll put them underneath the video. But I wanted to know, what year did Moneymob start?
It started in actually the first Moneymob started in May 2017. No, 2016, and when we officially launched in May 2017.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and are you still money mobbing business?
Yeah, we are. We are still money mobbing. We did a money mob recently at a store in Shoreditch. We did a weekend. So we were there. We were actually collaborating with another group called FE. They did an event on Friday, and which I attended, and then we money mobbed this particular place on the Saturday and also on the Sunday.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, indeed. And what we find is that with it's one thing, because the whole money mob experience is that we target a business, usually by referrals, and then we would then use social media, marketing, radio, and the like to actually now gain the momentum, and get people, really fired up, and then we would then mob the business. But and it's one thing is actually being able to give finances directly to that business, because it could be 10 people attending, it could be 110 people attending, and everyone has to spend no less than £10 per person with that business. So immediately you've got the injection, but also the most important thing, and this is something that and I know that you've spoken about this as well, is the whole marketing and promotion of that business, so people have an understanding of the story, what people who are these people.
Yes.
What kind of services, what kind of product that they provide, how much what is the kind of costing? Is it a premium? Is it, a regular, and also where the brand is located. Why? Because a lot of people that we money mob, a lot of the people that actually spend with these businesses say, my God, I didn't know that was a Black-owned business. They just live around the corner from where I live. You know what I mean? So the actual marketing and PR part is as important as the actual, financially, making sure that we now financially directly spend with you.
That's fantastic. Now, was it sustainable in the sense that, yes, you're bringing in an injection into the business, but did you, as Moneymob founder and organizer, were you able to benefit from that as well?
Okay, when I started the Moneymob, the aim was to just support Black-owned businesses per se. I wasn't really looking for any kind of recompense. I was looking to create something that would later on be sustainable. So what we were doing is like promoting a loyalty card situation. We was also, selling merchandise. And we still sell merchandise. But essentially, it was to really kind of use that as a vehicle to support the businesses per se. Later on, we found that yes, we're not, to actually after year 2, year 3, it was not going to be sustainable just to support businesses, and there was no kind of give and take. So so more and more we then had to create things where we would then, so we were still Moneymob, but also we would have to be now looking at some of the stuff, what services we are now supplying you, and also now they would have to come with some sort of a costing for that, as well as I said, now moving into services that we actually are now providing for that particular business or client, even outside of the Moneymob experience. You know what I mean? Because it got to the stage that it was not going to be sustainable.
Yeah, because I think when you're doing something like this, and I've certainly found this with Black economics, you start off and you're actually giving thousands of hours to this thing where you are promoting other businesses, sharing information about them, marketing, trying to get people there. And yes, people are blessed with an inflow from sales, but you, in a sense, leave empty-handed or with a few shekels, perhaps. And it's not sustainable, because once that initial passion sort of reduces, you realize it's a lot of work, your workload is heavy, you could end up doing 2-3 Moneymobs a week, and you have no time for yourself to actually earn. So I suppose in a sense there had to be an evolution where you sort of started packaging up your services and saying, if you want this, then you will need to pay for it, because I need to eat, I need to, you're alive, you need to pay the mortgage or the rent or whatever you need to pay bills. So that's a very important part that I want businesses to bear in mind, that when there are people working to help promote your business, that you also got to think of a way in which you can bless the person who's doing it, because otherwise you have a business therefore which is not sustainable. And you can't, if for instance you can't do everything, you can't even employ someone to do it for you, because then that's extra expense. So I presume this is where, the stage where you're at now, where you're saying, right, this is what we offer and this is what we can do, but make sure that our costs are covered.
And you got it exactly there, Dawn. When we launched, it's funny you said that. When we launched 2017, we had just around the end, we had a question and answer session where people asked me, would ask me questions. One of the questions that was asked is, Paul, I know we've seen what you're doing over the last few years. We've seen the launch event, because the launch event, it had a marketplace, we had speakers and so on and so forth, branding and everything. How much does it cost to move the Moneymob to where it is? And I said to them at that time, it had cost me cash £10,000.
Wow, really?
£10,000, and we're now in May. We celebrate 8 years as the Moneymob. So as you said, this is not sustainable to do it in using that kind of same sort of model. You are absolutely right. for most part, Moneymob does take over a lot of your time, because again, you have to be really, really focused on trying to make sure you give good value and support a segment that's not really supported, but at the same time, most businesses, if you are thinking as a business person, you know that you have to invest in you do invest in other things. You invest in stock, you invest in time, you invest so you also have to invest in in a service that's going to help you. And what we tend to do, I sometimes get the phone calls from, or the texts from people that their businesses are going, well, the diagnosis is almost terminal. And that's when we're now contacted.
Yeah.
But your business is now, you've been diagnosed, your business has been diagnosed as terminal. That's the wrong time. You know what I mean? As opposed to a time where now you're growing, and that we could then really be able to help you in the way that, in truth, what we want to help you. You see. So it is also about trying to do the best that we can in what we're doing, and like what we're doing right here now, just to make business and educate our businesses, to make them aware that these are areas that we must now also look to invest in.
Okay, that's interesting. So in other words, people don't wait till your business is dying or on its last legs and think that Moneymob can perform miracles. Maybe you have in the past, but it's it's harder, isn't it? It's hard.
It's very, very hard.
Yeah. Do you have a team?
I have a team of such. My team, we had a massive team back in the day. We do have an army. We call it the Moneymob army. So the Moneymob army goes and will help in regards to being on the ground, supporting Black businesses financially. But we do want to grow. We do want to grow the team. More, and grow the team again. I think there's a lot of work that we must do and can do, and we can actually offer. So yes, I am I'm at the time now looking to try to grow the Moneymob team.
Fantastic. Well, I'm so happy to hear that. Well done. Okay, so let me step back a little bit. Okay, because we hear of partnerships, Black business partnerships starting, and then after a few years, maybe even before a year is out, they've split. And I have a contact who says that he wants to do a seminar on why Black organizations don't last. When I heard that, I was a little bit shocked. I was like, ooh, that's very negative.
Indeed.
And then he proceeded to make a list of Black organizations that used to exist that now no longer exist. Now, me being my positive self, will try and counteract that with, partnerships that have lasted. And certainly in America, there are good examples of that. And I even was watching a video the other day about Atlanta and how it's seen to be the Black Mecca. Black people are doing well in the corporate space as well as in the business space, and there are many partnerships and groups that are thriving, and maybe we ourselves can do our own research in terms of groups that have started many years ago and may still be going. But you know what? Partnerships don't always last anyway, whether this is white people or Indians or Chinese, some happen for a few years and then they split apart, And it is a fact sometimes that people fall out and people leave a business and then the entity may continue or it may break up. So I want to go back to power now. I want to ask, how long did the power group last? There were four of you, you said. How long did it last?
Power as a group, I mean, it lasted, I would say about a good 5 years. About 5 years.
Okay. And was it one person who caused the splinter, or was there a faction, two against two?
Um, it was as well. There was inside situation, but there was also outside influences, and also we will also it wasn't necessarily just about people coming in and let's say breaking up the business. Is that we were also going through transitions as well, so it kind of naturally kind of moved as opposed to it literally having someone target us and target what we was doing. It was meant, I think we'd have to transition before we got to the stage where now it was going to end up being completely destroyed. So it was more a strategic situation.
Okay. Okay. Did you maintain your assets or did you
Did I
lose them
maintain?
or sell them or?
We did sell them, yeah. We did sell them. Some sold, some no, some was not sold, but we sold, yeah. A lot of the assets we did sell.
Okay. Okay. Are you still on friendly terms with those ex-partners?
Oh yes, absolutely. Oh
Okay. And have they gone on to do other things
yeah, they've
things
gone on
like
to, yeah.
yourself?
Yeah, they've gone on to do other things. They've gone on to do amazing things, which is really, really lovely. Yeah, we're on good terms. We're on the phone all the time, and yeah, we are blessed. You know what I mean? I think that's the same thing. That's the beautiful thing. With that, you can always, you can always go and build, again, in the future. I think, as I said, you just got to be mindful that and don't close your eyes to the realities of building.
So, what would you say to people who are starting out now in partnerships or groups? Because even for that 5 years, you did amazing things, okay? And that legacy should live on. In fact, you should probably write a book about it, how it was done, how it started, and to see that you were basically international, I mean, that's a fantastic thing. And for people who are embarking on that or perhaps in that kind of grouping already, what pitfalls should they avoid, for instance?
Okay, I think it is important to keep your grounding. I always say to people, and I say it to myself, and I say it to everyone that I talk. If you are working with a group of people that are your colleagues, it's important that you have, and I know that this is a cliche, but you have to have the same goals. You have to have the same motives. You have to have you have to have the same sort of character. I think that's important. If you're working around your friends, always say that you should always build your tribe, and your tribe of people that that you can trust. That you are honorable. Your word is bond, and that you can speak openly, and you can be your authentic, vulnerable self around your tribe. You know what I mean? So if there is difficulties, they actually are able to understand that. But if you're now working with your colleagues, it is first things first. It has to be, you must create a circle of trust. You must create a circle of trust. And I think I always start off by, wherever I'm working with anybody, I always start off, and I would always advise people to start off with a small project, something very, 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 very small. Because it was there. If there's any red flags are coming, you will see elements of the red flags at that time, and then make the projects and create them and make them larger and larger and larger, because at that time, that's when the trust circle becomes much more and wider and bigger, and you're able to then take on projects. I think sometimes we make the mistake of jumping into certain things because we see something shiny, or we had a good conversation and we haven't created the circle of trust. Europe has become a power because yes, it is united, but there is a circle of trust. That's why you have that's why you have a banking system. That's why you have a stock market. People trust that the bearer of that note, that you actually can exchange that note and get something for it. People can trust that, okay, well, look, I trust that that stock is going to be able to sustain itself. And when there's a lack of trust, that's when you have a recession. And that's the same thing. In our situation, you have to create a circle of trust first, and also, okay, if your goals, if your vision fits within my own vision, and my vision fits within your own, we don't have to be like carbon copies, but it has to be something that, okay, we can see that our vision is mutual. And I think one of the last things is that they must be mutual respect for one another. I think that at times,
Yes.
if you don't have that, you can't, you can't grow. If your relationship as colleagues, is not right, then you're going to be in problems. But I think first things first, you must create the.
But I do think that name, power, and what it stands for. Can you say what the acronym stands for again?
People organized and working for economic rebirth.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Have you thought of starting that again?
No, I think colleagues of mine has already have gone with it already. So that's fine. I've left it for them to do.
All right. So there's another group with that name, huh? Okay. All right. We will check that out and see if they're making waves. Fantastic. Now, you said you were in the fashion space. Tell me, did you start your own fashion brand?
I did.
You did. Oh, what were you making?
Well, at that, well, I'm no longer making anything now because I can't afford me. So what I do now, I offer.
Did you say people can't afford it?
If they can't afford my designs.
Oh, I see.
So now I just offer a lot of my consulting services. So I'm a consultant for a few fashion companies. Or I also am I also give styling advice. So I have clients that I do styling for, those who are in, maybe in the industry, they want to go, or they want like a styling coach. I will then offer my service in regards to that. I don't really do too much in regards to producing anything, but I'm going to produce it. It'll be very small capsule kind of capsule collections. Most of my time now is kind of dedicated to giving fashion advice, as I said, as well as
Okay, so you mentioned a suit. What other things were you designing?
Oh my God, I designed suits. I designed dresses. I designed for companies like Glen Model fur coats.
Wow.
At one time, I designed fur coats. I designed, children's wear, dresses. If you are a budding designer, I will help you. If you are someone who wants styling advice, I will help you. If you want me to kind of take you to designers and style you in a way that to get you ready, whether it's for corporate work or for TV or something like that. I will be into that. But in regards to not making, I don't want to do and I'm not really wanting to get into that.
Okay, no problem.
Well, not really.
Okay. Yeah, you moved on. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to ask is, do you do money mobs online? For people, for instance, who don't have a store, but they have an online e-commerce platform, do you do money mobs in that way? Like virtual money mobs?
Yeah, virtual money mobs. I did 2 virtual money mobs during lockdown. I did a money mob for a company, Marshall and Brown. We did I think it was a 7-day money mob.
Wow.
We did a money mob for Del Getty teas.
Oh, wow.
We did. I don't think. I think that was a couple of money mobs we've done online. We did. I think we did some for a food company, another food company. It's kind of escaped my brain, but yes,
Okay.
we have done online money mobs. Yes.
Okay. So going forward, there'll be a mixture of in person as well as online.
That's correct.
All right, fantastic. So if a business is watching and they want you to do a money mob on their business, how can they contact you?
Oh, you please, do you just send me an email or you DM me? My email address is moneymobinfo@gmail.com. Or as I said, if you're on social media and you want to the money mob experience, yeah, you just direct mail me or DM me via all the social media platforms, and we will get to you and arrange a time for us to talk.
And can we just say that in respect of your time and your talents, the things you do for business, this is not free anymore. Is that right?
No, we're not. As I said, if, they may be, as I said, if there are certain things that we may take on as a project, then and even then it has to make sense. But for the most part, no, we don't do freeness anymore.
Okay. And just to say, the audience that you get to take part in the money mob, they're not necessarily all black. It could be all nationalities who take part.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, I've had money mobs over the few years. I've had English people come money mobbing. Yeah. So I've had all nationalities come and money mob. You know what I mean? And these are people that I know. Yeah. So it's not just black people that have been. There's been cases I've had more other people than even our own community.
Okay.
So I've actually done money mobs like that.
Okay, that's brilliant. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, what's the best money mob that you've had? Tell me about the best from the beginning of the day right through. Tell me.
All right, some of the best money mobs I have done. All right, we did a money mob in there have been some classics. We did a money mob of a shop in Deptford. It's a high fashion shop, and because usually we start around 1:30, and that was a nice money mob. There wasn't like a whole stream of people that was at this one, but they made more money during that money mob than at any other time since their business was open. That I do know. That, and they've told me this. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Or we did a money mob for there was the supermarket up in Croydon, the West Indian supermarket up in Croydon. I actually wasn't even here for that particular money mob. My team was at that time, and I did the advertising whilst I was in the Caribbean, and we money mobbed that business. And again, her testimony was that the cash registered was ringing from 11 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She said, and as I said, they had no idea we were coming. So that was a very, very, very good one. We also did one for an alkaline shop in Brixton, and that shop, we mobbed that shop so bad that they had to go sneak out the shop to buy ingredients and buy stock to come back to deal with the customers that had mobbed the shop.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We've done some classic ones, I must be honest.
Have you done restaurants or takeaways?
We did a few restaurants. We did a restaurant in a Caribbean restaurant in Ealing. Very nice restaurant. We mobbed that restaurant. Oh my goodness. We went down there one evening. It must have been 6 o'clock. I said, yeah, I've got a few friends coming down, so you need to be ready. Next minute, about 30, 40 people descended on the restaurant, and that was very very nice, very, very, very popular. And it's funny because I was interviewing a young lady a couple of weeks ago, and her husband has a restaurant, and she was saying, because she had her own business, and she was saying, oh my goodness, it was so lovely, because I know that you money my husband's business, and you all came down and you spent money, and and it was so lovely to kind of get that kind of feedback. So yes, we've had some classic ones, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I think what I would like to see, and maybe you have it already, so if you have, then let us know where to find it. I'd love to see a schedule of the places you're going to money mob over the next, say, 2 or 3 months. Yeah, like a diary, maybe you're doing something every 2 weeks or maybe every week or so, because sometimes it's a different set of people that go depending on the geography of where the business is located. So I would certainly be interested in seeing that and helping to promote that, certainly for our audience, Black economics audience. And let that be widely known. So then let us know whether it's an online or whether it's in person or whether it's both, because some people can be able to do both. And how long does a money mob last for? Is it a day? Is it a week? I think that would be great to be able to see. And maybe by the time I've edited this video, you will have a list of what's coming up so that I can put it at the end of the video so people can see an example of your work. This is real. This is real, people. This is happening. And I'm so grateful for this idea that you have brought to businesses here. And I hope that those businesses that you have mobbed, are grateful. Maybe some are still going after that. And, they remember the good work that you've done. Some of it really out of the kindness of your hearts because you've had no payment for it. But you know what? Sometimes when you do great things, you get rewarded from a different direction,
Indeed.
I hope that you live in a blessed life.
Oh, I'm definitely living a blessed life. Thank you so much for offering to share some of what we're doing on your platform, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I don't get a chance often enough to speak about my own journey. So I am very, very, very grateful.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Paul, for being a part of this interview, for sharing your story. And I hope, I know there are many lessons that I can take from this, and I'm sure the same with others who watch it. So let's hope you'll get some people coming back to you. And even if it's just to come congratulate you and to say, well done. Look, audience, I'd like to say, it's good to be able to give people their flowers while they're still here. So if you go on to Moneymob on Instagram, send in a message, whether it's a DM or a public message, send them a message and say, well done. We're so pleased about what you've done. And maybe some people might have other ideas for you, or they might want to be part of your team and say, when's the next one? We'll be there. People, let us learn to support and encourage each other, because then we grow faster and we get stronger.
Again, thank you so much, Dawn. Thank you. I wish you all the best in what you are doing. I know it's a journey, and I know just like myself, this is a journey not for the faint of heart. And we just thank we thank God for all that you have done for this in service of our community. We thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. Take care. Bye.
The revolution is here. LionX AI services. AI chat, your questions and our AI assistant's answers. Write blog post in a single click. Create AI images, free trial. In an era where technology is rapidly evolving, the line between human potential and artificial intelligence becomes increasingly blurred. However, rather than viewing AI as a threat to our capabilities, it's time we embrace it as a tool for enhancement and empowerment.